Good evening. Today we're in the Talmud series number 20, and last week we spoke about some rain subjects, and we're still in Masechet Taanit today, and we should start with the words of the Gemara that Rav says that every day there's an echo, there's a spiritual echo in heaven that announces that the whole world is receiving food thanks to one righteous Jew. What's his name? Hanina ben Dosa. Hashem announced the whole world is eating thanks to my son Hanina, and my son Hanina eats carobs, hard vegetable, fruit. It's a fruit. It's very hard, sweet, with seeds, and that's what he eats all week. That's how poor he is. One time, his wife, on a Friday afternoon, everybody bakes chalot in their ovens, all the neighbors. She has a bad neighbor. The neighbor comes to see why her oven is on. It smells like fire. What's inside? Obviously there was nothing in. She went and she saw chalot there. Hashem made them a clear miracle that there was challah bread inside for her not to be embarrassed. And that's their situation. So the whole world sometimes can eat thanks to one person or bunch of people. And these people, Hashem is testing them so in such a high level that they may not have anything. Everybody eats thanks to him, and Hashem says, okay, let's get you to the higher level, and higher level, and higher level. Let's see how much faith and emunah you have in me. And the Gemara brings another example that his daughter wants to light Shabbos candles, and there's no oil. Oil, even today oil is not so cheap, especially olive oil. But in the old days, when everything was primitive, not like today, today it's all machinery, it was very difficult to prepare olive oils. And when finally you have it, it's expensive. So she doesn't have oil. So she comes to him, she says, we don't have oil for Shabbat. How are we going to light candle? He said, I don't understand. What's the problem? Put vinegar. She says, since when you light fire with vinegar? So for him it was so simple. The Gemara tried to show you what level this person had. We don't find people like this anymore in history. He told her, the one who told the oil to lead up can tell the vinegar to lead up. What's the difference for him? This liquid should lead and this one should not? What's the problem? And she had a miracle, and the vinegar was lighting the whole Shabbat, even longer than the oil. And they used it for Havdalah. That fire that they had, they were able to use it for Havdalah, which means there was 25 hours on, which normally oil can be only a few hours on. The Gemara say in another place that Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa have sheep. And the people in the area comes and say, hey, your sheep is eating grass. They're stealing. Why don't you lock your sheep in a place that it's not private territories? Take them to the mountains. Why they eat from our grass? We need our grass for our own sheep. The question is, how all of a sudden he has sheep? What's going on? We just heard that he's the poorest guy in the world. Even money for oil he doesn't have. Even for bread he doesn't have. It cannot be more poor than this. All of a sudden he has sheep, tens of sheep. That's a rich guy, tens of sheep. It's enough to eat for 30, 40 years, no? Giving birth to baby, you have milk, you have meat, you have everything you need. What? So, the Gemara brings a story how it happened. One day a person came, knocked on his door. Excuse me, sir, I'm going to the market now, and I have this rooster with me, this chicken. And I don't want to walk with the chicken all day everywhere I go. So can I park the chicken by you? Can I put it by you? So he said to him, yeah, of course, put the chicken by me. So he took a stripe, he tied the chicken's neck, and he put it to some pole over there. And he said, I'll be back in a few hours. They threw some seeds on the floor, and the person went and never came back. The person never came back. So the person never came back. Hanina now has a chicken. What is he going to do with the chicken? Then the chicken gave birth to the eggs. Now the eggs became chicks. And then more and more, and it started to grow, and it became hundreds of chickens. It's all a house, there's chickens running all over. What are you going to do? You have to watch it for that guy. Maybe one day you remember that he left a chicken here. It's very interesting. I saw yesterday in yeshiva a very interesting question about a chicken. Reuven and Shimon are neighbors. Shimon has a lul. You know what a lul? Where all the chickens are sitting on the eggs? Chicken what?
Chicken coop.
Chicken coop. Very good. And Shimon and Reuven, the neighbor, had 5 eggs. Those eggs need a chicken to sit on it. He doesn't have chickens, he only have the eggs. So he went quickly without permission to his neighbor's backyard. He put it under his chickens. He marked an X on it or something, that you know which chickens are his. You know, once the chicks come out, it breaks. And he knows which one came from him. So he put them in different coops, like over there. And then after a few hours, the chicks came out because the mother is making the eggs very warm. And that's how the chicks comes out. So that's, by the way, one of the biggest miracles in nature. How inside the egg, you have the chicks for X amount of time. And from the minute he was being created inside the shell, Hashem already provided him with his food for the entire time that he needs. The mother doesn't have access to the babies. They are inside the egg. They are inside. If you want to get to them, you're going to kill them if you break the egg. So you see, this is a proof how the living of every person comes from Hashem. That it's technically against all odds. Imagine if a baby was born with some kind of metal surrounding around him. There's no way to drill it. There's no way to access it. 24 hours, he'll be dead. This is the idea here. And you know, for hundreds of years, the rabbis and the Greeks used to argue what makes the chicks, the white or the yellow. One say the yellow, one say the white. And in the end, they both were wrong.
Yeah, it's both.
It's none of them. Not both. None of them. Once the chicken become pregnant, inside that egg, there's one microscopic seed of the male, very, very small. There's no way to see it with the eye. And that's automatically developed into a bird. But the white and the yellow, it's the food. That's what confused many. Now, why they couldn't know? Because the Torah didn't tell you. Not everything in history the Torah was speaking about. The Torah spoke about all the important things. The Torah never wrote in a pasuk what created the chicken, the yellow or the white. It was a regular argument, a natural argument. And since the rabbis and the Greeks didn't have a telescope, a microscope, they didn't have a microscope, so there was no way to see. Later, today, when we have the microscope, we see it inside. But then in those days, they couldn't see. So Reuven puts the 5 eggs under the chickens, and the birds came out, the chicks came out, and now Shimon refused to give him the 5 chicks. He said, I'm only paying you for 5 eggs, whatever it is, 10 cents each. Here, take 50 cents, leave me alone. So what do you mean, I have 5 chicks? I said, no, you don't. The chicks came thanks to my birds, to the big chicken, not thanks to you. Without me, you wouldn't have anything. You would become eating eggs. That's what they would become. You will eat it. How much it worth? 10 cents. Here, I'm paying you, not stealing from you. And he said to him, what do you mean? Without my eggs, you wouldn't have 5 chicks. Who deserved to get them? What do you think? It's a good question, no? If you're the judge in a case like this. Yeah, I know it's only 50 cents. It's the concept. It's not the money.
The whole thing is they were fertile eggs when they went under the chicken for incubation.
Yes.
So that was the trick. They were already fertilized.
Right, they were fertilized. There's no argument. But without the mothers, this fertilization wouldn't help anything. That's it. They'll die inside. There's nothing. That's sometimes we have blood inside the egg. Yeah. Sometimes you see blood. That's like fertilization that was supposed to be a chicken, and in the end, that's why we got to take this blood out. By the way, you know, one time when the Christian used to make all kinds of stories about the rabbis and execute them and put them in prison. So one of the cases, they took a very holy man and they accused him that he killed a Christian boy, and he took his he took his blood and to make matzah. Such foolish nonsense. You know, like a normal human being can eat the blood of a boy. It's even a Nazi, I wouldn't suspect him that he's eating a blood of a Jew. Such nonsense that those ignorant fools are wasting people's time of speaking about it. And believe it or not, in the Arabic world, that's what they teach every day in school. And that's what the Jews used to do in Europe. Much like this, without any hesitation. So, anyway, so the judge is trying to show that he's honest. Sometimes the judges are honest because they don't have a choice. Because they know what people will think about me. They are not honest. They always think who, watch, and what they're going to write tomorrow. So there's no choice. Sometimes it's too obvious. I cannot. Even if he receives bribe, not always he can take one side. Because the proofs are so clear to the other side. It's too much for him to say, no, he's right, you know. So anyway, in the middle of the trial, the lawyer of the rabbi, which was a Jew, the rabbi told him, tell the judge to get any Jewish woman from the street, and I'll prove to him in 5 minutes that there's no way I could kill that boy. The lawyer didn't know. They call up any Jewish woman from the street, randomly. She comes into the court. They say, ma'am, the rabbi wants to ask you a question. He said, I want you to go and get a chicken, an egg, from anywhere, from a store. Get an egg and make me an omelet. Come inside here to the court. Go to the kitchen here. I want the judge and everybody to see how you make an omelet. So they ask him, what's relevant to the case? In the middle of the trial, we're going to execute you soon. You want an omelet now? He said, no. Just be patient with me 5 more minutes. So the woman went and got the egg. First thing she did is looking inside. So they asked her, what are you doing? Why are you looking like this? She said, I'm checking to see if there's no blood. So he said, well, and if there is blood? He said, no, we're not allowed. If there's a dot of blood, this egg is not kosher. We cannot eat blood. It's against the Torah. And let's dismiss the case. The Torah says, Chaim ve'amavet beyad halashon. Life and death is in a tongue. Depend on your tongue. What comes out of your mouth. All right, so we're moving back to here. By the way, the answer to the question is that Shimon received the chicks and he has to pay him for the eggs. He gives him 50 cents and he takes it. Why? Who gave you permission to enter my property? So that's a violation. That's a knas. Technically, he doesn't deserve to get the chicks. They should have split it. According to the Gemara, they have to split it, 50-50. You understand? But since he violated his rights and he went into his house without permission, then he loses everything. So whenever there is an equal doubt, then they give a penalty to one side, automatically lose the case. And that's what happened in this case in Beit Din. Okay, let's move on. So the Gemara says that all of a sudden Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa is a rich guy. He has lots of sheep. So the Gemara gives the story how a person left a chicken and that chicken became few hundreds. And then one time he realized he cannot control anymore all these chickens and feed them all day. So he sold them and bought a pair of sheep, male and female. That's it. Or he bought a female and the female was pregnant, one of the two. Then they gave birth and more and more and more. All of a sudden, after a few years, now he has, who knows, maybe 100 different sheep. Now, all he's doing is for years, is watching this for the person that one day will come again to that market and see his house there and will remember that one time he left a chicken. And that's what happened. One time he came, and the person came and knocked on his door. Excuse me, sir? Yes. You know, a few years ago I came here, I gave you a chicken. I'm sorry, you know, it's my fault. I forgot to come claim for my chicken. But wow, whatever happened with that chicken? He said, come, let me show you your chicken. Took him to the backyard. You see, 100 different sheep. This guy became rich. What's the halacha now? How much the guy has to pay him for raising his sheep for 7 years, let's say, whatever it was? How much he has to pay him? Depends. If the milk and the wool that the sheep generates over the years was enough to cover the cost of the food and taking care of them. Today we need a veterinarian and and all kinds of doctors and shots and I don't know, whatever they have over there, security. So there's other expenses today. But in those days it was very simple. You just have to give them grass to eat. That's it. They eat grass, they drink water, it's almost for free. So the sheep, the milk and the wool covers the expenses of raising them, that's it. He doesn't have to pay you anything. If it wasn't enough, you have to calculate how much it cost you over the years and he has to pay you. What happens if you don't want to lay out the money from your pocket? Then you sell it, and you keep the money until one day the person show up. If he doesn't show up, Eliyahu and Navi one day show up, tell you what to do with his money. That's the law. So now, when they come and say to him, your sheep are stealing, he told them it's impossible. My sheep never ate one bite from someone else's grass. If that's the case, may all my sheep will be eaten by bears. Let the bears eat them. And if not, my sheep will bring a bear in their mouth. And the Gemara said, was such a tzaddik that everything came out of his mouth. We don't find anyone in the world like this today. He say thing, a few hours later you see it happens. Okay, amazing, amazing. Very good. All right, let's move on. Rabbi Elazar ben Pedat was a very poor man. So poor, he doesn't have anything to eat, not even carobs. One time, he was starving, he saw a piece of garlic. Imagine when you didn't eat for 3 days and you see raw garlic. Would you try to eat it or not? When you're so hungry, you get to a point that you're going to die anyway. So let's try, maybe this vitamin over there will keep me alive another 5 hours. He didn't think that actually it's going to be the opposite, that the garlic will kill him. When on an empty stomach you eat a clove of garlic. So right away he passed out from the garlic. It's very spicy. It goes to the throat, to the nose, to the nostrils. He couldn't breathe. Oh, he passed out. While he was fainted, they came and they found him laying down on the floor, and they saw that sparks of fire are coming out of his nose, and he's smiling. He's fainted with a smile on his face and little sparks falling from his nose. They come to him and say, they woke him up and say, hey, Rabbi, we found you laying here smiling, dreaming. You have little sparks coming from your nose. What exactly you were dreaming about? So he said, I was with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with God together. And he told me, and I told him, how long more I have to suffer this kind of poverty? That's my purpose in life, just to suffer poverty? Hashem told me, Elazar bni, my son Elazar, do you want me to return the world to the beginning point? Maybe you will be born in a better fortune. Because, you know, we have signs in horoscope, right? We have Dli, I don't know how to call it in English, all these signs. You have twins, you have all, you know, all these things. It depends on the month where you're born. The month, the week, the day, the hour, the minute, every minute is already different fortune. It's going to change your entire life. That's why we're not allowed to induce in deliveries unless if there's a risk, life risk, just to induce because the doctor is in a rush to go home. We're not allowed. Also, we're not allowed to shorten the life of an old man or a sick man by even 1 second. We're not allowed. We don't have permission to be God. So the idea here was that God says to him, do you want me to return the world to the beginning point? And maybe you'll be born in a different fortune, maybe in a different hour, and then you'll have a better fortune of wealth. So he said to him, depend. Did I live most of my life, or I didn't live most of my life yet? So Hashem told him, most of your life are behind you. So, okay, it doesn't work for me to start from the beginning. Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe you're born again poor. No, okay, no. So keep me like this. He said to him, what's my reward to the next world? So he showed him 12 rivers of Afar Semon's oil. most expensive liquid, like rivers of perfumes. And he say, you're going to have great pleasure inside. Of course, this is all meshalim, all analogy. Don't take it literally, yeah? So he say to him, that's all? These rivers, that's it? He asked Hashem. So Hashem say, what would be left for your friends? You want everything for yourself? Leave some for your friends. So he told him, Hashem, if you would be a human being, God forbid, then I understand you're limited. You have to give equal to all the righteous people. You have no problem giving as much as you want to everyone. So Hashem say to him, if you won't be quiet, I'm going to shoot missiles, arrows. I would shoot arrows on you. And that's when the sparks were coming out. So this is, I don't have time to start explaining to you all the secrets in this dialogue between him and Hashem. If one day you have time, you read the Maharal, he explains all the Haggadot in a Shas in an amazing way. It's all secrets. The Ari and the Mekubalim say that in all these stories, that some of them sound very strange, all the secret of the Torah are hidden in those stories. The Chachamim spoke in language that ordinary people will never understand what's behind it. It's a lot of secret. I'll give you one example. One time they wanted to announce that there's Rosh Chodesh. The Romans didn't let, so they said, David Melech Israel Chai Vekayam. What's the connection? The King David is still alive. What's the connection? David Melech Israel Chai Vekayam. The secret numeric value of that sentence is Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the month. All kinds of secrets. The Talmud is full of secrets. So, the story from here we see that sometimes a person can be very poor here, can be very big tzaddik, can be very poor, but don't worry, your time will come soon. Before you realize life is a blink of the eye. There used to be a very, very big Rav, his name Eben Ezra, Rabbi Avraham Eben Ezra. He lived 750 years ago. In every Chumash you see his interpretation on a Chumash. Ibn Ezra. He was so poor, sometimes he went 3 days without eating. Not like today. The poor people, they always have what to eat. They come to a store, say, have mercy on me, give him an apple. Give him a pita, empty pita. Well, a big deal. How much it costs him? 20 cents? Here, take a piece of bread, don't die. Please don't die. Here, take rye bread. Here, take a bag. Come back next week. Those primitive days, it wasn't like today. You have to go to a place until you get to the market. You're poor, you don't have how to get there. People were starving to death. So, sometimes a person can go in this life so poor, and in the end, for every moment of suffering, it's only duplicate and triple its reward more and more and more just for those moments of suffering. So the Ibn Ezra was so poor, and his student decided to help him out. They were learning with him, they had a little money, they decided to collect money and give it to him. But he had a rule, he doesn't want to receive donation from anyone. I don't want to take any gifts from any person. So how are they going to give him the money? So they decided to put a wallet on the street while he's walking towards the yeshiva. They'll hide. They know, they see him coming, they put the wallet, and they all hide behind the trees and see what happened. When he came closer, they saw that he walks with his eyes closed, and he went over the wallet. He didn't pick it up. His eyes was closed. So how can it be? Finally, we got him on the way. We put the wallet and didn't pick it up. The next day, they told him, Rabbi, we saw you yesterday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and walking on a street with your eyes closed. We want to know what's the secret here. Maybe you teach us something new in the Torah. We want to learn. So he said, in the morning I was very, very broken. For 3 days I didn't eat. I was very weak. It was disturbing me. I couldn't learn Torah as usual. And I asked Hashem in my prayer in the morning, why it gets to a situation that it's affecting my Torah and mitzvot. Okay, I suffer is one thing. But I want to be able to learn Torah, that's all. What am I asking for? 1 piece of bread a day? Even in Auschwitz they gave 1 piece of bread a day. So what am I asking for? Then I saw a blind person walking in the street. Cannot see anything. Sir, can you show me where to go? When I look at that blind person, I realize what a lucky man I am that I'm only hungry. Can you compare hungry to blind? Blind has $1 million. They can't see anything in life. What's better, to be hungry every day and see colors and see the world and able to read Torah? Or to have $1 million in your, or to have $1 million in your account and not to be able to see anything. So I wanted to see how much the blind person suffer every day. I wanted to compare his suffering to my suffering. So I decided all day to walk with my eyes closed. And then I realized how lucky I am that I'm only poor. So his Talmudim, his student told him, Rabbi, we have a suggestion. Maybe you go to bury bodies in a cemetery. Nobody will die. When a person not supposed to make money, you just don't make money. Go and be working in a cemetery. Since Hashem doesn't want to give you any parnasa, nobody will die. Because if they die, you make money. You know, you got the point of that. I remember one time, I had a friend, he used to live in Monsey, now he's 8 years in Israel already. So his name is Shimon. He's such a wonderful person. But he's the type of person that, you know, I hope today is different, but in those days you see that he doesn't have mazal. Try this business, doesn't work. Try that one, doesn't work. Try this one, doesn't work. In spirituality, Baruch Hashem, he did wonderful things. Money-wise, some bad decisions in business. People took advantage on his great heart. You know, it's a combination of problems. One time in Chol HaMoed, we decided to take the kids to see animals in a safari in Six Flags. First and last time ever. It's 2 zoos over there, if you know what I mean. One zoo is the animals, one zoo is so many people and crowded, and it's not a place for a person who loves Hashem. It's very difficult to walk there. But anyway, we already made that mistake. And they close at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock you cannot enter. It's supposed to be 2.5 hours. So we left at 1 o'clock, 3 cars from Monsey. 3 cars were on the way there. And a very interesting thing happened. Just maybe 20 minutes before 4, we were maybe 3 miles before the place. Accident. The highway is blocked. Can't move. By the time we got out of the traffic, we arrived to the line 5 minutes to 4. 5 minutes to 4, now I see there's maybe 20 cars in front of us. You know, it's like a toll booth. You have to pay. I say to my wife, my friend Shimon is the first car, I'm the second, and we have another guy behind me. Shimon, me, and Uri. 3 cars with families. I say to my wife, how much you want to bet that once Shimon will get to the booth, they'll close. Everybody before him will go through. When he's going to get there, that's it, we're not in. I should have been first, or Uri. It's a big mistake, he's the first car. She told me, what are you talking about? 4 o'clock, he's the next one on the line. A guy came with a truck. Sir, stop. The car went like this, blocked the way. No more entering from today. I said, we were begging this guy to let us in for the children. We drove more than 3 hours to get there. He doesn't want to let us in. He doesn't want to let us in. The kids were barely, you know, the kids were screaming, crying, no, please, what? Wherever we were trying to convince this guy to let us in, no, sir, that's the rules here, 4 o'clock, finish, go home. So we came from, I'll show you the address. We came more than 3 hours drive. We're not locally here from Philadelphia, whatever it is. No. The fact that we are Jews with yarmulke didn't help us too much over there. So now we're thinking what to do. So I say to him, follow me. If you ever went there, you know there's trees on the right. Trees, like a forest. I say, you know what? Let's go through the forest with the car. Let's see where it's leading us. The next thing, we found ourselves back to the toll. He went around. All of a sudden, where we came, he left the car, he parked the car and left. We came in, we walked in, we paid him the money, and we saved the Chol HaMoed for the kids. Why am I telling you this? Sometimes if a person is not supposed to have luck, mazal, nothing he can do, that's it. That's blocked from all over. There's a period of time that Hashem is testing a person. You know, it's now they have the Christmas holiday of the Goyim. So there's a beautiful joke, and it's so correct, unfortunately, about the tricks that some of the Jews always use their Jewish mind to make some tricks sometimes. So, you know, the captain say to a plane that goes from United States to Israel, while they're landing, he say, welcome to Israel, we'll be on the ground in 10 minutes. The plane landed, everybody clap. Only in the Israeli planes they clap when you land. No, they clap to Hashem, why not? Other planes, they take it for granted that they land. The Israeli likes to clap. Okay, no, so they clap. Now is taxing on the driveway there. So the captain say, please do not untie your seatbelt, keep your seatbelt fastened, and please do not turn your cell phone on. 5 minutes later, until the plane will completely park. 5 minutes later, the captain comes again and say, for those of you who are sitting in their place with their seatbelt fastened, have a Merry Christmas. For those of you who are standing and talking on their cell phone, have a Happy Hanukkah. The Jews obey the rules of the captain. You take a Jew, he has 2 opinions already. One day is left, one day is right. Why? It's boring to have only one opinion. Right? That's it. Whatever, people argue, he chooses a side. Today I'm Chabad. Tomorrow I'm Breslev. Next day I'm Sfaradi. Next day I'm Vishnitz. Every day. Tomorrow, argument, today I'm Satmir. Why can't you choose the right way and that's it? Every day jumping like a clown. No. Anyway, so the Gemara say, Avraham Avinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono shel Olam, dear God, maybe the nation of Israel making sins and you are about to do to them what you did to the generation with the flood, everyone drowned. Or maybe what you did when they built the Babylonian tower. Say, no. Hashem said to him, love, no. Amar lefanav, Ribono shel Olam, tell me, you told me that I'm going to inherit the land. Please show me how. He told him, you know, this is, by the way, the reason why we suffered so much in Mitzrayim, that from that question of a tzaddik. Hashem told him, you're going to inherit, and he said, prove to me that, like you tell Hashem, I'm not sure that what you say is going to be. For Avraham Avinu, it was already too much. And he said to him like this, K'cha li egla meshuleshet. Take a calf, a young calf. It says to him, Ribono shel Olam, I understand in the time of Bet HaMikdash, when there's no Bet HaMikdash, Hashem told him you can take a calf and sacrifice it, and that will make a repentance for the entire nation. So Abraham told him, okay, this is in the time of Bet HaMikdash. When there's no Bet HaMikdash, what's going to happen? He told him, don't worry, I already gave them a replacement for the sacrifices. What is it? Every day when they pray Shachrit and Mincha, morning and evening and afternoon, they read Seder HaKorbanot, all the sacrifices that they used to do in the time of Bet HaMikdash. It's count like they did by reading it. Shene'emar, what did we say? Uneshalma parim sfatenu. We pay the cows with our lips. Since there's no altar, no Bet Mikdash, how do we pay the cows? With our lips. One time the Romans made a decree that you cannot bring trees anymore to the altar of Bet HaMikdash. And they put police on the way that you cannot deliver trees to Bet HaMikdash. What happens? Soon the fire's going to go off. No more sacrifice. There's nothing you can do. Why do you need Bet HaMikdash if you don't have a fire? So The people who were righteous and love Hashem, what did they do? You know how they brought trees? They pretend they bring ladders. They took the trees, they make ladders, and every hour somebody bring a ladder. And then they break the ladders and they use the trees. You know, it's an excuse. You know, what do you call this meritza in English? There's one wheel and two handles, and you bring sand with that.
Wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow? One guy comes to the duty in Israel with a wheelbarrow. He comes like this. He brings it inside. They say to him, "Sir, what do you have inside?" It was covered with sand. "Nothing, you can check." Check. So they check inside the sand. Nothing inside. He's not smuggling anything. So, okay, you can go in. Next week he comes again. He goes in with a wheelbarrow, again with sand. He says, "Sir, what are you smuggling today?" Check. Like this 10, 20, 30 times. Every week he comes with a wheelbarrow. So they told him, "Sir, cannot be. How many wheelbarrows you bring? For what? If you're not smuggling anything." "Okay, tell us the truth. We promise you we don't touch you. We just want to learn for other people." He told them, "You fools, I'm smuggling wheelbarrows." What's the point? They thought about everything besides that. So it's like a person bringing a safe. "Sir, what do you have inside the safe?" "Open, check." And he keeps bringing safes inside, and they're not realizing. Anyway, that's very interesting, because now maybe we're giving ideas for the crooks what to do. But I saw a nice question yesterday about a rabbi in Israel that gives a lecture once a week to a group of business people, once a week, and they all love it very much. They take lunch break. They come from all the offices in a diamond district, and he teaches them about business according to the Talmud, to the Gemara. And he shows them cases that come to the Jewish court every day. How strange, what ideas the crooks have, how the rabbis have to know who's right. He teaches them what's going on in a court. After a few weeks, one businessman guy comes to him and says, "Rabbi, you are great. Since I met you, I doubled my income." He said, "What?" He said, "I never believe somebody like me that knows all the shtick in a business, I never believe that I do not know nothing compared to these people in your court. Yeah, no, I have no idea how much I learned from your lectures." What did he learn? To be a crook, worse than what he was. Now this poor rabbi, he comes to teach Torah. I found out he gave this thief who knows how many ideas to cheat customers. From the stories, he came to the rabbi, to his rabbi, said, "Rabbi, I'm giving this shiur. Everyone loves it. They're all okay people. There's one crook there. What am I supposed to do? Should I cancel the lecture completely? Should I change the subject completely? Should I keep the same subject and ignore him since he's a crook, he's a crook? Or maybe I should mix it with ethic, with musar? What should I do?" So the rabbi gave him an example from the time of the Gemara, that Rabbi Yossi one time came to a city and he was giving a lecture, and he was teaching about the thieves in Sodom, how they used to go to the safe of the people. How they used to come to a person and say, "Sir, I have some farsemons here." Farsemons. It's fruit that has delicious smell. They tell him, "Can you watch it for me? It's an expensive fruit. I'll come back tomorrow and take it from you." So the person takes it. Where is a person hiding something precious? Inside his vault, inside his safe, where he's hiding all his cash. And then they come in the middle of the night, and they go like this. They smell, you know, and they smell, where is the smell of this farsemon? Oh, it smells over there. They go around, oh, it smells right here. They dig a little bit, and they find all the jewelry and the money, and they steal, thanks to the smell of the farsemon. After he gave that lecture, that night there were 300 robberies in that city. So the people of that city came and started to demonstrate against Rabbi Yossi. "What, you coming to teach Torah and you taught the crooks?" So he told him, "You should have told me that this city is so corrupted. How am I supposed to think that I'm coming to give a lecture in a place and almost everybody in the crowd was a thief? Usually thieves don't come to shiurei Torah." So the question in the Gemara, was Rabbi Yossi guilty or not? Or he did the right thing? Was he allowed to teach what he taught or no? Yes. Why? The Torah say a pasuk, Tzadikim darkei Hashem, the ways of Hashem are decent. Tzadikim, what's the pasuk there? Yelchu bam, the righteous people will follow that path. Vereshaim yikashlu bam, and the wicked people will fail because of the laws of the Torah. Why? You chose to be a thief. You chose to be a crook. The Torah, it's an obstacle for you. Torah doesn't like crooks. Everything you do is against the Torah, so the Torah becomes your enemy. What made the Torah your enemy, and also supposedly God became your enemy? What made it? Your choices, not nature. The Torah can be very friendly. Just listen to the God's law and finish. You chose to be a crook, the Torah became an obstacle. Same thing, a person hears Musar, it bothers him. Why it bothers him? You see right away, some people after 5 minutes of the lecture, they get up and leave. They can't tolerate what they hear. Why? Because they already begin to suffer before they even started the scene. Because they know the speaker is speaking about what I do every day. I can't take this. I can't take this. You know, this is what's going on here. People cannot digest the truth. They can't live by the truth. So they begin to make excuses. Oh, it's scary, strict, fanatic. No, it cannot be. He exaggerates. It cannot be that Hashem is like this. I don't believe it. I didn't see it in the Torah. I heard otherwise. Millions of excuses. But inside, everybody knows that's the truth. But what am I going to say? That's the truth and I'm a sinner, I'm a loser? What am I going to say? It's so much easier to make excuse. I heard otherwise. It's not the opinion of everyone. One person came to Rabbi Eliashiv. So, Rabbi, I bought this tefillin for $1,500. The story was more than 10 years ago. So tefillin like this probably is more than 2,000 today. So he said to him, I bought it. I paid top dollars for this special sofer, the best. Then one day I decided to check it, routine check. After I checked it, they told me it's pasul. I went crazy. For years I put not kosher tefillin. If a person buys tefillin from a very kosher place, they have certificate, they have good recommendation, they learn all the laws, the rabbis know that they're okay, there's no phony business over there. And once in a blue moon, they produced a non-kosher pair. Don't forget, we are human. Even the best doctor in the world can kill a patient in the middle of a surgery by mistake, human error. We are human. What happened? If this tefillin got to you, don't blame the sofer. The sofer already wrote 1,000 pairs, the all best in the world. One came out not good, it came to you. Of course, he has a guilt here, I'm not saying no. But you are guilty, not him. If it came to your hand, that means from the 1,000 tefillin that were distributed to people, which bad one came to you, not to anybody else? From thousands of houses in town, where did the thief go to? To your house. Why is it? It's not coincidence. Thank you. It's not coincidence. You understand what I'm saying here or no? Before time is running out. So it says like this. The people were smuggling ladders. Smuggling ladders. Then, thanks to that ladders, they were continuing to be able to maintain the fire on the altar. When Tornostropus, the wicked Caesar, destroyed Bet HaMikdash, there was a decree in the court of heaven for Rabban Gamliel to be killed, the president of Israel. This goy came to Bet HaMikdash and said, one goy came and he knew that the Romans are planning to come and kill Rabban Gamliel. Nobody knew yet. He was inside their office when they talk. So he came and said, Baal HaChotem mitbakesh. The one with the nose is requested. He was singing. The one with the nose is requested. He's hinting now. Cannot say, then somebody will tell on him. Shamar Rabban Gamliel heard of it. He came to him, close to him. He said, I know what you mean. He says, If I'm going, he said to him, listen, if I'm going to save you, the goy said, you give me your word that you take me with you to the world to come where the Jews go? The Roman soldier tells him. He says, yes. If you save me, I'll take you with me. The power of this Chacham. He says, swear to me in the name of God. Well, I don't take your word. I know maybe you say, it's life risk, you're allowed to say a lie when your life is in a risk. Wasn't a stupid goy. Give it to me in writing. That's why they say today. Salik leigra nafal vemit. And the goy killed himself. Ugmiri the chigzir gzera. So what, they had a rule that if they come to a place to kill a person and somebody else died over there, they don't kill in the same day two people. So he had enough time to escape. That goy sacrificed his life to save Rabban Gamliel. Yatzta bat kol. And that moment, the Gemara, it's the Gemara. It's a part of the Torah. The Gemara said they announce in heaven that that goy is welcome to heaven in 1 minute. That's what we always say. Yesh Adam koneh olamo berega echad. A person lived all this life like a goy. He have tons of money. One time one person came to him and said, help me out, my yeshiva is collapsing. Give me a nice check before the yeshiva will collapse. And he doesn't even keep one mitzvah. Maybe he's even married to Goya. Who knows? So many out there like this. He said, what do you mean yeshiva collapsing? He said, if I don't have a check by next week to pay all the debts that I accumulated, the city shut my yeshiva, no more Torah, 300 kids go home. I don't know what's going to happen. How much you need? $3 million to get back on my feet. He may even have 100 million, but not all the rich people usually are not the most generous in the world. How they say, I work very hard for my money. He gave it to him, all his status in heaven changed. From a complete wicked guy, despicable, hated, everything flipped in 1 minute. And if he wouldn't give it, he would lose the $3 million in the next deal anyway. And then the suffering will be 7 times worse. Think about it. A rabbi came to him in the morning, help me out, give me tzedakah, I need tzedakah, I'm helping a poor family. Let's say he knows kosher. Today, if you don't know if the person is kosher or not, you're supposed to give him very little, a quarter and finish. Don't be impressed from his beard or anything like this. You don't know who the person is, you come to shul, maximum a quarter. Hey, that's what you're giving me? I don't know you. What do you mean? Look at my beard. Bin Laden has a longer beard. Well, what's the beard? Who are you? They show you letters, you don't know. In Brighton Beach, there's a Russian lab, they fake all these letters. You go, they make you anything you want, new driver's license, new passport. They can make you Rav Ovadia Yosef if they want. You bring the picture, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, 91 years old, and it looks with your beautiful shaved face, you became Rabbi Ovadia Yosef in Brighton Beach. Yeah, why? Well, you can rely on these letters. So the bottom line is, the bottom line here is that a person wrote the check and he got saved. He wouldn't write it, he would lose it anyway. When a person comes, help me out, and you know it's kosher, and you didn't give him the $100 that you were thinking to give him, and then 5 minutes later you came up and you saw a ticket, $105 ticket, you know right away Hashem punished you right away. And the suffering now from the ticket is much, much worse than if this rabbi wouldn't talk to you. You agree with me or not? Why? Because you say, oh, now it's going to the drunks that sits in Harlem and play domino all day. Now the money will go to them. You understand? I could have helped the Torah, and where the money is going to go? To the drug dealers, to all these people who make sins day and night, non-stop. Why? They collect money, and I had an opportunity to direct my money to a kosher source. I did not. I lost it anyway. What a disappointment. All right, so let's move on. The Gemara continue. Rabbi Akiva say, if somebody works on Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av, he cannot see blessing from the money he made that day ever in his life. You hear me or no? A person has a store, big business. Rabbi, I can't close in Tisha B'Av. I'm not talking a person that has food or a doctor that the public needs him, so it's more like a chesed to them. If all the clothes, all the stores of the food will be closed, what are we going to eat when Tisha B'Av is over? You need things for the baby. You need an emergency things. You need a store open. Food for Motzei Tisha B'Av. So food shopping is okay. Doctors is okay. But you sell clothing, you cannot close your store one day in Tisha B'Av. If you go and work actually in Tisha B'Av, no matter what business you have besides the one I mentioned, you can make any amount of money. Look at this money as sand. It's not really money. It's going to get out of your pocket, one way or the other. Tomorrow, next week, next year, 20 years later. One day you pay this money. Why? There cannot be that the whole world, the Jewish world, is sitting and crying for the destruction of the house of God, and you go, as usual, to make money, stand in your store there and listen to music while you're making money, and you think you're going to benefit from it? Absolutely not. So what does the Gemara says? The Gemara says, how did what happened? Oh, here. The Gemara says like this. My computer wants to move on to the next slide. Sometimes, for whatever reason, he moved to the next slide. I don't know what's the secret here. Maybe a spirit here. Let's say, let's move on. Maybe you talk too much about the same slide. Anyway, it happens every week. It's very strange. Okay, anyway, so it says like this. He doesn't see any kind of blessing. And Chachamim say, if you walk in Tisha B'Av, and you don't sit and cry with the public for the destruction of Jerusalem, when Hashem will rebuild the third Bet Mikdash, you will not be there in the big party. You will not be there. Why? Why you will not be there? Because this is what it says. Simchu et Yerushalayim vegilu ba. Be happy and a resurrection of Yerushalayim. Kol ohavea sisu ita masos kol hamitablim alea. Who is going to have the merit to participate in the big party of the resurrection of Yerushalayim, which means the third temple? Those who were sitting and crying for it. If you didn't participate in the mourning, you won't see the salvation of Chaz v'Shalom of Yerushalayim. So it's very, very interesting to know these things. And since we're running out of time, let's move on. Amar Rashbag, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, the son of Rabban Gamliel. There were no better days for the nation of Israel like the 15 days of Av, Tu B'Av, and Yom HaKippurim. Yom HaKippurim, we know why. Hashem forgive our sins. We received the second commandment instead of the first one who Moshe broke. But Tisha, the 15th of Av, what's so special about it? Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel, this is the day that they allowed the tribe to mix. Up to that moment, every tribe have to marry his own people. Levi with Levi, Shimon with Shimon, Reuven with Reuven. No mixing. Why? Because they have to share the lands, and it goes by the fathers. Which father gets a piece of real estate in what area of Israel, according to the lottery. And if they mix, then they won't know what part to give to what tribe. It belongs to this tribe or to that tribe. What's going to create a confusion? And that day, they allowed the tribes to mix, and the entire nation of Israel became one big nation with no more tribes. Amar Rav Nachman, one other thing happened. They allowed Shevet Binyamin to be back as a part of Israel, because they put a band on them after the story of Pilegesh Bagivah. It's a horrible story. I don't have time to start it now. And they got them in band that nobody will marry their daughters or their sons. That day they forgive them and they accepted them back. Also, Rabbi Yochanan say, this is the time that all the people who Hashem cursed in the desert, the entire generation died. Only two survived, Yoshua ben Nun and Kalev ben Yefuneh. They are the only two that came out of Egypt and entered Israel. Everybody else died. Why? They made few sins. They complained too much to Hashem. Hashem say, you won't see Israel. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, even Aaron, they didn't see Israel. The day that all the generation passed away, there was that day, Tu B'Av. Then, that day, Hashem didn't speak to Moshe. Where does it say it? Deuteronomy 2. והיה כאשר תמו כל אנשי המלחמה למות מקרב העם, וידבר השם אלי לאמור. When did Hashem started again to talk to me, Moshe says? After all the people passed away. You know, and he says like this. Ula say, what's so special about Tu B'Av? This is the day that Hoshea ben Elah dismissed all the Avodah Zarah that Yerovam ben Navat put on the way to Jerusalem. He didn't want people to go to Jerusalem because there was Rechavam over there. It was Judah and Israel. It was split to two groups. And he knew if he's going to go to Yerushalayim, Rechavam sits on his king chair, and he's going to have to send like one of the crowd. And it's an embarrassment for him. And he didn't want, so he put idols in the area of Tel Aviv, Bet Shemesh, those areas. And he told them, we don't have to go this year to Yerushalayim. We can worship Hashem through these statues today. Sounds silly, but that's what happened. Just that his ego will not get offended. You understand? So, 52 ways to Jerusalem. In each one of them he put a statue. You want to go? The police. Hey, where are you going? Here. You want to connect to Hashem? Here, you have this rabbi here. Connect to Hashem through this rabbi. Connect to Hashem through this rabbi. Connect to Hashem through this grave. Connect to Hashem through this statue. Connect to Hashem through the sun. Connect to any connection to Hashem through something, even a person, even a righteous person, as I say in one of my lectures here before, is a very, very bad sin. Very, very bad sin. What else happened in that day? Amar Rav Matana, the people who died in the city of Betar, millions of people were butchered, rivers of blood close to Yerushalayim. Finally, after 3 years, the Romans allowed to bury them. And a miracle was that they didn't smell the whole area. I just walked here on the way here, the sewer here, because of the snow, it seems to me frozen. The entire block here is horrible smell. Just one area of sewer, horrible smell, right here outside. Baruch Hashem, it doesn't come to a shul. You know that the big fire in the Carmel mountain in Israel, one of the biggest miracles you can see. Go into my Facebook, you can see that clip. The entire town was burned completely. There was one rooming house that was rented to young people. The entire building burned out completely. Nothing left, not even one pole left. Everything is black like charcoals. One room in the middle of the house, the fire didn't touch. Which room? Room full of holy books, and the 3 yeshiva guys renting that room and learning Torah, Gemara in that room. That room, they interviewed the girls. The girls say, we have nothing to say. The girls are not so religious. Maybe they're a little bit religious, I'm not even sure. So we never saw such a thing. Look around. Around, everything is burned. The fire skipped that room. And this room is the same thing like the rest of the house. All the holy books. Even the secular reporter from the news say, we have to admit that it's an unbelievable miracle. To hear a miracle in a prime time on the news? Wow. No. So, 3 years, the bodies are not burning. And they made a special bracha in Yavne. Why Yavne? That's where Sanhedrin moved to. Sanhedrin used to sit in Bet HaMikdash, in Lishkat HaGazit. They had a section that all the Chachamim were sitting there, like a yeshiva, inside Bet HaMikdash. The Chachamim one day decided to move to Yavne. Why you leave Jerusalem and move to Yavne? It's strange, no? Strange, no? Imagine all the rabbis from Jerusalem will move today to Yavne. What's going on here? Why? You leave the holiest city in the world and you move to Yavne? Chachamim of Sanhedrin? 71 most important people in the world? Why they moved to Yavne, you know? You know why or no? Because the Torah says when you have to execute a wicked Jew, you have to execute him. The Torah says something very interesting. Me'et mizbachi tikachenu lamut. You take him to the execution from my altar. What's the connection, altar now? Mizbeach. What's the connection? Where the Mizbeach is, next door to the Lishkat HaGazit, where the Chachamim sit. The altar is here, and they sit here and learn, and renew all the laws, and judging people. So the Torah says, the only way to execute a person, if you take him directly, once they sentence him to death, in that room, which we call Lishkat HaGazit, Sanhedrin, you don't wait a minute. Directly you take him to the execution place. That's how they used to do it. So the Chachamim found a way. They said, listen, up to now, we didn't have to execute anyone. Everyone is righteous. Now we have too many cases. Let's move out of here. If we move out of here, we won't be able to keep the words of the Torah. The Torah says, how do you execute a person? You take him from the altar directly to the execution. In Yavne, there's no altar. We don't have to execute anyone. They didn't want to kill people. So let Hashem kill them. Why should we kill them? Who wants a job like this to be a killer? Huh? I know one killer that killed Eichmann. His name is Hagar, Yemenite Jew. He wasn't religious. After he hung Eichmann, something happened to him and he became mentally disturbed for about a year. He couldn't come back to work. He had problems. And then when he recovered, he went back to be a policeman and became religious. What happened? How the monster Eichmann, Imach Shimo, that murdered millions of Jews, how did he make one Jew religious? How? After he hung him, he was supposed to take his body off the rope. In order to take his body, you have to hug him, right? You press on his stomach, and you pick him up a little bit, and then you take him out of the hook, right? He has around his neck. You have to pick him up a little bit. While he was pressing on his stomach, there was a lot of air inside. So all the air came out from the mouth, and all of a sudden, the eyes of Eichmann, the air came to the face, and he went like this, ah! And this Yemenite Jew got so scared, he maybe got up. This monster came back to life. After I hung him, he fell with him on the floor. That's it, he couldn't, forget it, he went into shock. And they took him to hospital, they took care of him, whatever. For 1 year he couldn't function, nothing, from the tragedy. And then slowly he went back to normal and became religious thanks to this case. You know, sometimes a person, for whatever reason, wait for something, tragedy or something painful to happen in his life until he remembers to become religious. Sometimes Hashem takes a person's father or mother away, knowing they respect their mother and father so much during the year, and from that they become religious. I always think to myself, what fools we are. You have to wait until your parents passed away to remember Hashem exists. Some people, they're religious 1 day a year. The Christians are religious 2 days a year. Christmas, almost even the Italian mafia, they go to church, right? Christmas Eve. They all sit in the misa with the piano, you know, in all these fancy schmancy churches. Tomorrow he has a list of executions. But today he sits singing to Santa and to J.C. Penney, you know, sitting together. But the next day they become religious is New Year's Eve. All the secular Christians, 2 days a year they're religious. Some Jews, also the same thing. 2 days a year they're religious. Yom Kippur and the Yortzeit of their parents. If both of them died, so 3 days a year. That's it. 3 days a year, they remember Hashem is here. No. So, finishing the list, what else happened in Tu B'Av? This is the time when they used to stop cutting trees to the Ma'aracha. Let's say they had enough, they didn't have to continue to cut. Then, from that time, the heat, which was horrible, you know, the heat in Israel is very, very hot, started to go down. From that moment on, it's becoming cooler. Also, why they stopped cutting trees for the altar? Because they're not dry anymore. Trees that are not dry, they're not good for the fire, because they're humid inside. moisturized. Something moisturized is hard to burn. Also, the girls of Israel used to go out to show themselves to get a shidduch. What they call today single glad kosher party, if there is glad kosher party like this. Single event. Single event. And all the girls dress the same clothes, that you don't know if his father is Donald Trump or Bill Gates. You won't know. Somebody told me this week that Donald Trump's daughter or son, something, got married to a religious Jew and converted. Do you hear that or no? His daughter, I think, married a Shomer Shabbos Jew. I don't know, I hear a lot of rumors, and I don't know what of them are true, not, but that's what I heard. She converted. She converted, no? If it's real conversion, I don't know, but okay. Anyway, okay, so yes, the Gemara also says, one other reason they all wore the same clothes, simple clothes, not to embarrass those who cannot afford. And those who were very pretty say, pay attention to my beauty. It's a God gift. Right? Where does it say in the Torah that beauty is important? Sarah is beautiful. Right? Esther is beautiful. The Torah highlights the fact that some of the Jewish mothers were very pretty. Chava, this, that. On another place it says, the beauty is not important. Right? Sometimes it's important, sometimes it's not. If you want to be happily married, you have to love your wife. So if she's completely not your taste, what's the point? Forcing yourself on her? Nah. But to go ask for the most pretty woman in the world is also silly. Where are you going to find yourself in 20 years from now? Those who have good genealogy, they come from an important family, they say, don't forget who are my grandparents, this rabbi, this chief rabbi. I come from the Gaon Vilna, from this, from the Ari Gaon, you know, they say all kinds of things. Those, everyone try to impress with the skills that they have, right? And those who are ugly, what can they say? What are they going to say to the guys? They say, don't forget that marriage is for the sake of heaven, to have righteous kids, and you need a kosher wife to raise them, and I am the one. Everyone has something to brag about. Amar Ula, it says like this in the name of Rabbi Elazar, one day God will make a party to all the righteous people in heaven. And he brings Mashiach, and Mashiach sits in the center, and everyone points with his finger, and they say, ואמר ביום ההוא, הנה אלוקנו זה קיווינו לו, ויושיענו זה השם קיווינו לו, נגילה ונשמחה. This is our messenger of God, the Mashiach that came, and for sure he won't be JC. That's for sure. Then we'll finish with this. We have 3 minutes left, and then I have to move on to my next lecture. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. If a person come and tell you, I did my best, I put all my efforts, and I was not successful, don't believe him. If a person put all his efforts, it's guaranteed to be successful. Why? Hashem will help you for sure. If a person say, I did nothing, and everything was successful for me, I'm a Talmid Chacham, I'm a Tzaddik, I'm this, everything I have, doing nothing, it comes to me natural, don't believe him. It's also a lie. If a person say, I did all my best, I put all my efforts, and I was successful, believe him. That's the right way of the Torah. And the Gemara says, this is what? About efforts in learning Torah and knowing Torah. But what about business? Business, you don't need to put too much efforts. A person can come and say, I did nothing in my life and I became a billionaire. Believe him. We saw many of those. But in words of Torah, in Torah knowledge, nobody ever became a billionaire in Torah without killing himself 50, 60 years learning from morning to night. Nobody. Nobody. How you become Rav Eliashiv 60 years from morning to night on the same chair and the same standard. Everybody saw. How you become Rav Shach, 100 years of learning Torah from morning to night. How you become Rav Ovadia, 87 years since he's 3 years old until today, 91 years old, from morning to night, every minute of his life with books on his tables, riding, learning, riding. That's what his house is, all like a library. That's all they have in their life. Everything else is a punishment. Sitting to eat, punishment. Sitting in a bathroom, punishment. Going to sleep, punishment. Yes, yes, for him it's a punishment. When a person enjoys the sweetness of the Torah, nothing comes even near that pleasure. The happiness, the light of the Torah is the best drug you can think of. There's nothing else that can satisfy you like this real thing. It's a real thing. It's not an illusion like the phony drugs out there. And once a person tastes from this, we had Ben Azai, the Gemara said Ben Azai didn't want to get married. They told him, you have to get married. The Torah said, I said, I can't. Chashka nafshi b'Torah. I'm addicted to the Torah. I can't live 1 minute without the Torah. I cannot be a husband. Cannot be a father. I cannot do anything in my life besides learning Torah. You take the Torah away 5 minutes from me, I'm dead. I become crazy. I can't. People in history reach this level. Well, it's not a joke here. Amazing, mamash amazing. And the Torah says like this, Amar Rav Yitzchak, if you see a wicked person that is successful, don't mess with him. Because every wicked person, once in a blue moon, Hashem pays him for the little good that he did in his life. Maybe now is his moment. It's not the time to argue with him or to fight with him. שנאמר, אל תתחר במרעים. David HaMelech wrote in Tehillim 37, don't start arguments and fights with the wicked people. If you see he's successful, it's just temporary. Soon he's going to collapse. It's just a matter of time. And if, Bezrat Hashem, you should know that we're people who try to be righteous. We are far away from being righteous, but we're trying. We work on it. We analyze our days. We see what we can improve. We ask for forgiveness. We try to learn. We try to give tzedakah. We try to learn Torah. We try to come to lectures. Whatever we do, so obviously we have a special place in the eyes of Hashem. We have to know, if you're going to hold yourself righteous, you will never die righteous. Never. If a person is able to say, Ani tzaddik, I'm righteous, I'm religious, I'm a tzaddik, I'm generous, I'm honest, I'm a hard working in Torah, I'm a great learner, you are zero. If you think that way, you will see that in the end you're going to achieve zero. The only way to move forward is to think I have nothing yet. How all these rich people became rich? In the beginning, when they had $50 in their pocket, their dream was to get to $1,000. That's all. When they got to 1,000, they became very hungry. They want to get to 10,000. Then to 100,000. Then to 1,000,000. Once they had 1,000,000, they only started to become hungry. Only 1,000,000 I have? What? What you can do? You cannot even buy a house in Great Neck. What is this? My uncle, this, they all have mansions, houses, accounts. Let's begin to work. Oh, he works 5, 6 years. No, 10 million. Then here's $10 million a guy made in a market in 1 hour. So all my life I work only 10 million. I gotta make it to 100. Why eventually in the end he got to so much? Because he was always hungry for it, and Hashem gave him what his dream was. Okay, you want, this is your life? Money, money, money. Let's give you to get rid of you. As Parashat Beit Hanan say in the end, the last 3 psukim, pay the wicked to get rid of them for the few mitzvot that they did in their life. But naturally, what motivates them? Hunger for money. If a person is full, it's not going to make a penny. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go collect my checks. You have tenants, they owe you rent. I don't care. Let them live for free. Of course you won't have money. Same thing in Torah, it's needless to say. If you're not dreaming to be Rav Ovadia, you will need be nothing. If you think, I'll know a little bit Torah, that's enough. You won't know even a little bit. If you think, you know what, I'm going to be like this local rabbi, it's also good. You will be a quarter from him. If you say, I'm going to be like this Dayan in court, you'll be a quarter from him. In order for you to get to a nice level, you always have to think much, much higher. If you settle on 20%, you get to 5%. You think I'm going to get to 60%, it's enough, you get to 30%. You say I'm going to get to 90%, you get to 60%, 70%. You will never get to what you dream. It's a lot of effort, but if you aim high, you settle somewhere in the middle. If you aim low, or just to pass the red line, believe me, you fail. I know as a student. My motto was as a kid, as a foolish kid, to get 56 in a test. Because 55, it's the red line. 54, it's fail. 55, it's barely passed. I say to myself, let me get 56. Why? Because less than 56, my parents get a phone call. And then my problems begin with my father. So since I knew I'm not going to continue with all these foolish learnings that they teach in secular schools, so I'm thinking to myself, well, anyway, I'm wasting my time here. Why am I sitting here? For my parents. This is what most students do in schools. They go to school not to disappoint their parents. Most of them even go to college just to satisfy their parents, that they won't be embarrassed from their family. Why do you think they go to college? They know nothing is going to come out of it. Well, some of them wants to live 5 more years and my parents pay the credit card bills. It's another 5 years of Keitana, camp. Pizza, beers, party, trips, you know, hanging out. Well, 5 more years without worry. We'll worry in 5 years from now. Some people really go to college, they want to be one day a big judge or I don't know what, lawyer, whatever, a doctor. So they really put their life in it and they become something successful. They're not aiming anywhere, they achieve nothing. To gain knowledge, remember what I just said in the name of this Gemara and we'll finish for today. We already finished Masechet Taanit. Next week we'll start Masechet Megillah, Be'ezrat Hashem. After the snowstorm will allow us to go back to normal. But we finally finish Masechet Megillah, Taanit. Be'ezrat Hashem we'll start a new Masechet. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week.